The night has come.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Light Gate. We're coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans in Louisiana at the United Public Radio Network at 107.7 FM and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM. We're on Facebook, we're on Roku, we're on Rumble, and we're on YouTube. We have a really good show tonight. I would like to thank our sponsor for our network, Carnation. We love you. We know Thanksgiving's coming, and trust me, I went and bought some already. It's in the pantry. Okay, so this is a Q&A night, and Preston gets to do his to you.
You glitched up a little bit there, but I think I got it.
Because I'm laughing. Okay, all right.
All right. Well,
Okay.
Thank you, Dolly. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We have a very special guest today because it is you, the audience. It's open mic night. So very excited. We love doing this once every couple of months. It's pretty rare. So this is a treat for sure. It's episode 131 of The Light Gate. Welcome. We're very excited. Let's see. I am your host, Preston Dennett, and my lovely co-host is Dolly Safran. And do have a few announcements to make. I would like to let everyone know that we are doing a book giveaway tonight, 3 books that will start at the halfway through the show at the top of the hour. And I will announce the details then, but I will let you know which book we're giving away, which is UFOs over New York. Some of you may know that I've done a whole series on various states, about 7 of them, I think, 6 or 7, including California, New York, let's see, Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, and New Mexico. So we'll be giving away one of these. And if you want to choose another state, that's fine too. But again, no, we're not doing that until halfway through the show. So what else? Oh yeah, I also wanted to let everyone know that I have started putting captions in all different languages on my YouTube channel and on the Light Gate. It's a tremendous amount of work. I'm only about 10% through. I've gotten about 30 or 40 videos with captions in every language you have probably ever heard of, from Turkish to Hungarian to Urdu to French, German, English, Spanish, Arab, you name it, Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun, and I'm starting to see a response from that because I think it's important that everyone all over the world has access to this kind of information. I also want to show you something else. I'm going to pop this into the show notes here because someone very friendly, Brian, did some really hard work and put all my YouTube episodes on a link where you can go to and get all of them access to. And I'm posting the link. It's just spinning and spinning there. Oh, there it is. So check that out if you want to, have easier access to my YouTube episodes. That's one way to do it. All right, so we're going to get started with our Q&A. But before I do, let me just say a quick hello to all you folks in chat. We love you very much. And today I get to take my time a little bit because this is an interactive show. We really do appreciate you guys being here and bringing all your questions. And I see quite a group here. We have Piquant Parvenu. Very cool. And we have David McIntyre with a bunch of questions already.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. We have Deborah Holcomb. We have Teresa Levine.
Hi, Teresa.
Little Dove, all the way from down under. We have Johnny J from Knoxville. We have Patsy Foister.
Hi,
Thank you
Patsy.
for joining us. We have Leah Omega. I've got your questions. So let me see, who else do we have here? Did I say Deborah Holcomb already?
Yeah.
I may have. The Owl Man, happy Monday. Thanks for joining us. We have Scarlet Fire. We have the amazing Namaste. We love you, Namaste. Thank you for your very generous donation. It's amazing to me. You are just so lovely. Thank you. And Bob Thorson, also a regular contributor. Thank you so much, Bob. Really amazing. We love that you join us each Monday, and we truly appreciate your very generous donation. Okay, a lot of people here tonight. Very, very cool. We have, let me see, Rave Pawner. I think I'm not quite getting that, but I'm trying. Thank you for joining us, Rave P owner. We have Flubber Lane saying hello. We've got Poetic Poems. We have, who else? We have Flashnet Stream. And Star Orchid. A
Hi,
beautiful
sweetie.
night for some light gate time. Thank you, Star Orchid. You guys help us so much. We have Dunsel. We have Flea Market Gold. We have, that's us. I was going to say. Let's see, who else do we have here? There's a question. You guys are bringing those questions in faster than I can.
I know Louise's in here somewhere. I saw her earlier. Hi, Louise.
Have Sophia.
Hi, Sophia.
I'm starring your questions, guys, because you are getting ahead of me. We've got Cliff Olinger.
Hello.
I'm so glad to see all these questions, guys. Thanks so much. And Gizmo, keep up life.
Gizmo.
Thank
you.
Gizmo.
Thank you.
Very, very nice of you. And Becky Sloan, I made it. Yay. Very, very cool. I'm glad you could make it. We have Punk Ass 64. I hope all are well. I'm doing well. Hope you are too. Okay, I think that is all the folks I can catch. If I missed you, I'm so sorry. You know I love you anyway. And let's see. Let's just tell you a little bit about ourselves for those of you who are new to our show. Last week, our guest, I do want to mention that, Ben Davidson. Amazing guy. He shared a lot of information. We had record numbers. We're almost hitting 900,000 in viewers. So thanks to all you folks out there listening on radio and other platforms, whether it's Roku or Rumble or YouTube or on the Paranormal Radio Network. Did you read our call numbers, Dolly?
It was 843-62.
No, I mean the call numbers of our radio show.
It's 107.7 FM, United Public, and the UFO Paranormal is 105.3 FM.
Yeah, I just realized now. I'm not sure I heard that.
I did it. Yeah. I always did. Yes, I did.
Okay. All right. So for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, episode 131. I'm your host, Preston Dennett. I've written 32 books, working on 33, more than 100 articles. Been in this field for almost 40 years. Have family and friends and coworkers who've had amazing encounters. That's how I got involved in this field. I was a skeptic initially, now a believer. In fact, I've seen UFOs myself and was not too long ago taken up on board. Lo and behold, it was Dolly's craft, Talata. So that was very cool. I got to meet her main liaison, Mama. That's a little bit about me. How about you, Dolly?
Dolly Safran, generational contactee. I've been part of ET's world since I was an infant, baby. I've had many experiences, been places, done things, learned as much as I could, and learned to fly with them. And now I'm doing this. It's kind of fun.
All right. Well, I guess we may as well just dive right into it. Let me just make sure I'm. Oh, wait. Oh, that's a question. Well, hi, AD Dances. We'll star that question up so we won't forget it. Oh, hey, Louise, you missed me. That's okay.
I did not. I said your name. I even did that. I love you. Oh, no.
You, and Courtney and and so many others. Okay. Ooh, so many questions, you guys. This is awesome. Let me pull our way back up to the beginning, and we'll get started with these questions. Starting with David Perez, who actually I don't think is here, but submitted a question earlier, which is something we were talking about on Carol Ann's amazing show, Carol Ann Iadarola. We were talking, no, was it? No, it was The Outer Realm with Michelle de Roche, wasn't it?
No, it's with Carol Ann.
Where we're talking about UFOs over cemeteries? No, it was The
Yeah.
Outer Realm.
It
Either
might have
way.
been. We went back and forth between the two of them. So yeah, you're right. Michelle and Carol Ann. Yep.
At any rate, we did a show about UFOs hovering over graveyards and cemeteries. And we did talk about this. And David Perez is asking, do the UFOs that are witnessed at cemeteries, and that is a thing, they've got over 20 cases, are they there to pick up implants from their dead contactees?
Yes, they're also, they're also there to pick up their hybrid people too, who pass away before they can get a hold of them.
Yep. I think that is very interesting. It's definitely a thing. Okay, here is an interesting question from Peak. And I definitely have some thoughts on this one. And the question is, does the deep state ever take an interest in unknown geniuses worldwide?
100%. They track your education. They track everybody within their purview, and they know who's who. As a matter of fact, they start earlier in your life. All those little games you play, online are tracking your IQ, and they know who you are by the time you're old enough to think straight for yourself. Yep.
Yeah, they have these little tests you do in school to see if you're psychic or got special abilities. And I don't think that we're told exactly the reasons for these, but I suspect that's what it is. In fact, my older brother Jamie, who is now sadly passed on, scored very high in mathematics and very high in psychic abilities, and was actually approached by government folks, scared the pants off of him. He absolutely would not cooperate with them.
Right.
But yeah, I think that does happen, because I did an interview third hand through my father, who knew somebody who was actually tracked by the government because his SAT scores were off the charts, almost perfect. And they immediately offered him a job, and he ended up taking it, where he worked in a secret government base in Alaska, which was 8 stories down, worked on 3 things: biological weapons, sensing devices that could see through walls, and reverse engineering of VT technology. He ended up leaving because they basically interrogated him in depth using sodium pentothal and hypnosis every single week. He said it was just exhausting, and he's still under surveillance today. And we know there's something called a brain drain. Scientists are picked up and scooped up and taken to work on government projects all the time. So yeah, that's absolutely a thing. And it's kind of unfortunate, because it takes some of our best brains out there and keeps them away from all humanity, where they can do lots of real good. So a big yes on that one, and kind of unfortunate. All right, now David McIntyre has got some questions lined up. So I'll let you tackle this one first, Dolly, because I am really not sure. Do we live in a light-based universe, not particle or not electric? I think it's kind of
it's a swimming pool of all of it, but light is light, and we are all light, all of us. In the third dimension, you don't see how much light there really is, because you're limited in your ability to see it, hear it, feel it, without your abilities working full time. But yes, we live in a universe of full on light, and it is electric, and it is dimensional, and all of that, all of the above.
Yeah, as far as I know, that's absolutely true. I don't approach it so much from the scientific angle, but having had some out-of-body experiences, I can tell you everything up there is made of light.
Light is matter, just so you know. Light is a particle of light. Look it up.
Yeah.
Don't believe me, look it up.
They even call it wavicles, because it shares properties of both waves and particles.
It acts with its action as waves. It is a particle. Let's be, I'm tired of hearing misinformation. Light is a particle. It is absolutely particle. It has the ability to act or move about in a wave function. That's how it operates. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, Kay Hansen is saying David Adair was conscripted. That's right. David Adair was a rocket scientist who was definitely taken over to Area 51 or one of those places to try to talk to a UFO that was being held. I remember that now. Okay, let's moving along. Let's see here. Dinga, dinga, dinga. Another one from David McIntyre. He's got his questions in early, so he's first in line. During our sun's upcoming micronova with Earth tilting at 90 degrees and the magnetic poles changing, will all metals melt from induction heating, or will only metals containing iron melt?
All metals will melt. Some of them are harder to melt than others, but they will melt, including titanium. All of them will melt. Yes.
That's just crazy when you think about it. But after they melt,
the energy coming in from an X-class CME magnitude over 100, with our magnetosphere down, you have no protection against it. It goes through every single particle on our planet, all the way through to the center of our planet and out. And it will, if it's metal, it will reduce it. It will melt it. If you have metal in your body, you need to think about what it means to protect yourself during that, which means to go underground, and you need a plastic lined and rubber lined place, and I'd put 26-inch wood down and surround yourself with it, cover it, put at least 4 feet above your head, and make sure that your own body is healthy enough to take it.
I have a follow-up question on that. So the metal melts and the CME hits, and this CME would last, what, a day or something, or hours?
Yes,
Does the metal then reform?
It takes about 24 to 48 hours from beginning to end. It'll jump up, it'll hold, and then it'll wane away. And yeah, you have to be underground for that.
So all the metal will then reform, though. Then
it'll puddle, it'll pool, and it'll recongeal. Yeah, reharden. But you don't know how bad it's going to melt down into the earth. It's like it'll turn into lava under you. Okay,
well, can you imagine
it's going to go down through the rocks.
Some of these metal buildings? That's going to be intense. Okay, here's another question from David McIntyre. This is on the same lines of the CME. He's asking, to better our survival odds, I'll read it, Dolly. Should we be studying how to live without electricity like the Amish people?
As long as you realize that you can't use metal, yeah. It's more like Stone Age living. You need to learn how to live like a Stone Age man. That means herb gathering, keeping things in glass or wood. You need to learn how to keep yourself clean. You need to learn how to eat properly and have a place that you can cook and start fires. Remember, you're starting fires without flints at that point. There's a lot to learn. There's a whole lot. It's all over the internet. You can get books galore on how to do this. Just go on Amazon and put in the keywords, and boop, 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 all these books will show up. The Amish have a lot of good ways, but they require metal to do a lot of the things that they do. So I wouldn't really think about going that way. You need to think like a Stone Age person.
Well, they're definitely a leg up on most of us, for sure.
They understand more about herbology and what foods will last and how to render things and do things like that. So for cooking and eating and food gathering, yes. But preserving and building infrastructure, no. They don't go back to the Stone Age. They require metal.
We have the Iron Age, the Bronze Age. That goes way, way, way back. So
in this iteration, in this iteration, it goes way back. Yeah.
Was glass invented before metal?
Yeah, in a way, the Egyptians invented it. Sort of. They had a glass product. They understood the beginnings of how to get to it, and then they realized that they needed to heat the sand, the silica, and develop furnace.
And there were ceramics also, which go way, way, way back.
Yeah, that was first. Yeah.
So there's definitely ways to prosper in that environment.
But But you need a heat source and you need something to contain the heat while you fire a ceramic, which means building almost like an adobe hut shell thing, and putting all in there and seal it up and then light it up and let it fire. It's very, very, very complicated. There's ways to do it, and it is in books. You can get them on Amazon. I'm not kidding. Just look it up. Go to the library and look it up. It's there.
All right. Well, I'm going to skip ahead a few of these questions because they're right along these lines. And this is one I asked you, Dolly. What if I just stored all my metal tools in sand molds, and when it melts, it would just harden again into the tool?
No, would become like lava. Okay, don't interrupt me. It would melt the sand and the rock underneath it. It would go down 20 feet deep into the earth and just dissipate through the sediment layers that you're at. It would be so hot, it would turn into lava and go down into the earth. There's no mold that can hold it. None.
Yikes. All right.
Yeah.
It's serious stuff. All right. Well, I guess it's better to know than not know.
I want you to think about what a volcano does. Okay, you know how hot a volcano is. That metal's going to heat up to volcano heat, to the same almost temperatures. Where does volcano go? It spreads out, it slides around, it doesn't form into anything. It goes right through the sedimentary rock, and whatever it's spewing up stays on top of it, and it burns down into. It is not going to survive anything you do. The only way you can possibly help your tools is to Faraday them with plastic and rubber and bury them deep, and then you still might not be able to do it, because it would take very, very thick rubber, like this thick, with plastic surrounding it, with no seams in it, no way for that energy to get in with it, and it might sluice around it. But that's, if you're going to take the risk, go for it. Build it. If you build it, it might protect you. But in every iteration in our geologic record, nobody's managed to do it. So good luck.
All right. And also skipping ahead to kind of continue this theme, a question from Melanie Davis. What will happen to the nuclear reactors and weapons when the coronal mass ejection / polar shift occurs? Won't be pretty. Ammo
and munitions will blow up. Okay. A nuclear power plant, if the rod is fully engaged, it is going to melt down, but it's going to happen so fast it might burn through the rod so completely that there's no chain reaction occurring. In other words, it might be so fast that there's no chance for it to trigger a nuclear explosion. But some nuclear reactors are less than others, and you might actually see a few of them pop off in a nuclear explosion. Okay.
All right. Continuing. Will we have any time to get underground? Is there any warning of this thing coming?
Yeah, there's a warning. There's a couple of ways this is going to happen. It's either going to be very fast, within 8 minutes, okay, or it's going to be a day to 2 days. It just depends on how powerful it is, whether it's absolutely earth-facing, whether there's a coronal hole pushing it faster. They all have their own speeds according to the physics of what the sun's doing at the time. So you will have anywhere from 2 hours to 48 hours before it hits, okay? This is the coronal mass ejection, okay? That's the one you need to worry about. Now, there'll be warnings that you get on your equipment. If you have a telephone and your GPS suddenly goes, gone, that's your cue. Go. Don't think, don't ask questions, go. If your phone suddenly goes dead, you got no GPS, all your electronics in the house are popping off and dying, and you can't get a TV signal, here's your sign, get underground right now. That's all you can do at that point. That's your sign. Make sure that whatever underground you build has all of your survival food in it, and water and sleeping and all of that. You don't leave that in your house. You put it underground. You work very hard to get it all done quickly. Okay.
It's going to be exciting times.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going back to the top. So I know there's other people asking questions, but I do want to go in order. That's fair enough. So David McIntyre has another question, and this is an interesting one. Can intention, firmly held by thousands of Earth-dwelling humans, prevent the upcoming galactic calamity? In other words, can we change the will of spirit? I'd like to go first on this one, Dolly, if I may. In a word, I'm going to say no, but it is known that there's been some studies on this, that prayer and intentional thought can have an effect on certain things. But in terms of like trying to stop a volcano from erupting, or a wave coming in on the beach, a tsunami, there's certain things that no, this is going to happen. So I would say that it's kind of a trick question, because there are some things you can have an effect on.
Right.
But when it comes to a galactic calamity, I don't think so.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Dolly?
Well, I think he's referring back to what Ben and I talked about, and because I had asked him a question about why the CMEs are mostly on the limbs or behind the sun right now, the really bad ones. And he has a spiritual answer for that. And he didn't say it's positively. He just mentioned in passing that it was interesting to think about. That might be one of the reasons. My education has taught me unequivocally that's a no. We are on an astronomical path, and our planets are all revolving around one another, in a beautiful dance around our sun as we spiral through our galaxy in the era of time in our third dimension. We're lucky right now. For some reason, we are not in a position for the sun to nail us yet. But as we're going around and we're spinning around, that day is coming. It is only a matter of time. It will happen. And then all bets are off. We will experience that CME. It's like playing Russian roulette with your thinking. It is going to happen. You have to put it in your head. This is going to come. I know that we're a little bit overdue for it, which we are, but our sun is in maximum. Our poles are changing very rapidly now. They're going faster and faster. Our cohesion of our magnetosphere is dropping every day. And the sun has shown signs that it's getting ready to launch. If you're an astronomer, you could probably plot out when it might happen, because they already know when we're going to be in that facing position with the sun on the backside of it. Because see, we're going around the sun. Think about it. We think of it as Earth facing. Not really. It's us facing the sun around this way. So we're sun facing in a direction right now that seems to not be killing us, but we're going around the sun. So, hey, it's coming. And that's for sure. It's going to happen.
Well, lots of people are asking, when is this happening? When?
I wish I was, if I was y'all mind, if I was, God, I would hopefully be able to tell you, but I'm not. All I am is like you. I can make educated guesses. I know scientifically that things are what they are, and that we are walking on borrowed time right now. And we have been given more than ample opportunity to figure this out, that it is coming, to be ready.
I do want to address Starseed's comment. This is just very fear-based. It's scary, but it's definitely to your benefit to have knowledge as opposed to living in ignorance. We chose to come here, and one of the reasons we come here is to overcome fear, to gain experience, learn wisdom and love. And really, if you can move beyond fear, absolutely, this will benefit you in so many ways of your life. It's more important to know we're not trying to be doomfarers or doomsayers or scare anybody, but people deserve to know the truth. It's as simple as that. So no need to fear. We're all immortal beings. People, fear of death is one of the guiding forces in people's lives. Learn astral projection, and that will go away. And you will understand just how truly you are immortal. I just wanted to address that, because it is scary. It's absolutely like, wow, but no, the science is absolutely speaking to this. So it's not, fear mongering or anything. It's just fact.
Right. One of the things that I was taught by ET when I was very, very young is to critically think about why I feel the way I do about everything that's coming at me as I learn it. Because things do come at each of us. We all face all of these opportunities to learn things, including pain, joy, injury, all of that. All of us in our life, unless you live in a bubble, have experienced one of those. Loss, grief, all of that. It makes better sense when you tell yourself a truth. And the truth is that one truth that you've never learned here and have been directed away from it is this: to fear for your own life doesn't help you live. It stops you from living. That is the most true truth I know. To fear what could happen to you stops you from living. We are going to get boo-boos. We're going to get hurt. We are going to have things happen to us, and they're painful and unhelpful sometimes and unwelcome in our minds, but we must go through these. This is a part of why we're here. This is the toughest classroom in the universe, this one, in the third dimension. And there are others like us. And we have to understand that it is better to live without fearing what could happen to you than to be in fear and not live at all. Because it stops you from doing wonderful things. You have an entire universe of knowledge out there to accomplish while you're here, to learn all that is learnable and to be enjoy while you're doing it. It's a happy prospect to live well. Think about that. All right, go ahead.
All right. Moving along. Keep the questions coming, guys. We're getting through them. All right. This one is for you specifically, Dolly, from Deborah Holcomb. Dolly, have you ever had a tiny, super bright light appear through a cloudy area and gently move around 2 feet in front of you in a script-like fashion? This happened during a session probably the other day or something. Yeah. Like an orb, I guess.
Yeah, I know what she's talking about. Once, and it wasn't outside at all, and it wasn't, no clouds or anything like that. It was in the house, and my mother woke me up, and it's after my father passed away, and she said, "Look in that room." And I said, "What?" And she said, "Just look in that room." And I did, and there was a bunch of yellow pen lights going on in the room, and they were tracing the walls. Okay. And I thought, what the heck? And so I went in the room, and they instantly zeroed me, and they were all over me. And I thought, well, this is interesting. I'm going to go find out where this is coming from. So I walked out the front door and stood in the middle of the yard and looked up, looking for where it was coming from, because it had to come from somewhere. You have to be logical, right? And I didn't see anything, but then they stopped. They went out. And I thought, what are you doing? I don't even know who this was or why. It could have been the government. It could have been ET. I have no clue. There are so many things that go on in our lives that we have no way to know what they are or why, because they're not talking to us. What I can do, and you should try to do, is I question it. And I sent a message to ET looking for answers, and I got it. And it was the government. ET will answer you if you contact them consciously, psychically. Say, I just experienced something this week, and I really want an answer about it. And, be very specific about what you say in the question, and then be very, very ready to receive an answer and see what happens. Give it a try. Nothing is unknowable to you. You can't ask somebody who wasn't there, but you can ask your consciousness to ask everything in the universe that's already hearing and listening and seeing all that's going on. So go for it. Give that a try. See what happens. And let me know.
Very cool. Yeah, I have heard of people seeing orbs in the sky, creating letters and shapes and geometrical shapes and things like that, which I've always kind of just assumed was sort of a display.
If somebody's trying to contact you, you need to answer. Seriously, that's why I say that. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Here's a question that comes up wait a second. I'm skipping ahead. Let me go to Leah Omega 8's question. I've been asking to get healed and upgraded from our star family that is best suited. And I want to know if you can speak on med beds and how we get serviced.
Oh.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. We, again, all come to Earth in this physical body. Pretty much everyone on this planet at some point suffers illness. It's kind of comes with the territory. There are people who go all the way through life and die of old age and never got sick. They're very blessed. And there are all kinds of avenues to healing. Certainly one of the ET missions is to heal people, upgrade them, relieve our suffering to the degree that they can, if it doesn't interfere with our karma. And it's, if they can help, they will. Now, the best way to contact ETs is, of course, through meditation, hang out with people who are contactees, that absolutely helps because they're already in contact. They can show you how to do it, and it increases your chances of having contact as well. But ultimately, it's your responsibility. Healing can also come through astral projection, through overcoming, all the stresses in your life, hanging around with good people. My point is, there's many avenues to healing. As far as med beds, I am kind of on.
A med
Let
bed
me put
does
it
not
this way.
but record you. That's all.
Yeah,
It has no ability to heal you.
Our government does have healing technology that they're not releasing, but as far as a med bed that can, you lay down and all your illnesses are healed, no, I don't think such a thing exists, not even in ET craft. So I don't know if you want to address that any further, Dolly.
We have the ability to understand that while you're living your life, you're fully autonomous, you're in control of yourself. And one of the things that humanity's been taught all these years is that somebody's always got a cure, somebody's always got a fix, somebody's always got a this, and you're either cajoled or conned into it, or promised things and da 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 da. And on a scale of 1 to 10, it probably what they're offering you is only a 2 or a 3 in accomplishing things. Sometimes you'll get even sicker. There's too many things going on right now because our magnetosphere is so down that everybody's starting to show signs of real serious problems physically, and it's serious. But you have the ability yourself to help heal yourself, or at least figure out why it's happening to you, and then act from there. Everything is a teaching point for us here, and even I have things that I have to learn from here as far as physicality goes, and it's not easy. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you one of them so you understand. I was poisoned in my 40s, and it caused both my kidneys to fail. After they started to fail, and they kept them from totally crashing, but I only had 38% left. ET could not touch it. This was an act of a person here for a lesson for me to learn. It was karma. So I had to take care of myself. I had to will myself to do the best I could to live within the parameters of what was happening to me. And for about 8 years, I did really, really well. I kept 38%, and I kept functioning without any help from anybody. And then one day my kidneys had enough, and they both crashed at the same time. I had already planned, because I knew what I was doing, to go into a program at Emory and go into the kidney transplant program, because this was one fix that I could try to attain. A very dear friend of our family, and I won't go into that, it's a long story and I don't want to go there, but their daughter, who was my blood type, we knew we matched. I'm 12 years older than her, came and to where I was at my family zoo and helped me pack up and drive the difficult drive back to Georgia, because it was Emory. I had to go to my house in Georgia where my mom was staying. My father had already passed away. So when I got there, she bloody told me, I'm giving you a kidney. And I thought, well, let's see what happens. After 1 year, she did match. We matched 97.4% unrelated. And she gave me a live kidney transplant after me being a year on dialysis, which was really, really difficult. I learned a lot from it. I experienced life in a way that I didn't think I would. And every moment of it, trust me, a lot of it was unpleasant, taught me things that I would never have learned in this lifetime. So I consider myself lucky that I was able to go through that. And I'm speaking to you today, over 9 years later. And I'm functioning and able to do what I need to do. One of the lessons that I learned is that I am more than the sum total of the parts of this body, that I am in control of it, that I can will it to do what I need it to do. That's a huge lesson. And a lot of people don't go there in their minds because somebody's here is always telling them that you can be, healed or whatever. And I don't want y'all to think that ET is going to rescue you, because this is a lesson that we all need to learn. And they know that. And that's
ultimately, it makes you stronger and you learn something. Everything has a silver lining. It's important to really look for, why this is happening to me and what can I learn from this.
Right. And trust me, I've lived in joy ever since. It's no big deal, really. So
Louise says, I want to share my happiness. I have a grandson.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations, Grandma! Yay!
Very cool.
Awesome. Okay.
Congratulations, Louise. That's very cool. Well, it's always nice to share some happiness. Okay, let's move to the next question.
Okay.
Love you, Louise. Okay, I love this question. I love this question from Johnny J2B. Do the different colored lights on the UFO mean different operating systems? For instance, like automobiles, a diesel, gasoline, electric. What's up with the colored lights, Dolly? People ask this all the time.
It has to do with the frequencies that the light produces. And it is
why are UFOs why do they have colored lights? Why?
It's a language. They speak a certain language and they can use the light language. And they can communicate with each other while we're flying at distance. I can see one, at about a mile away, and I can see its lights. And even though we're in constant contact with one another psychically, sometimes when there's 1,000 of us, it's the light technology that helps us coordinate how far away we are from each other, what angle we're flying in, what we're doing. It's a code, a language code that we use. So that's why you're seeing the lights. And they have a tendency to want to talk to you in colors too. And some people get it. Some people hear the music from the colors as well, if you're psychic enough to hear them, because they're transmitting on all levels. And that's what that is. Frequency color is a frequency language.
Yeah, I think sometimes they are absolutely flashing these lights for you, so you can see them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that because they don't have to. This is not. Are any of them like sensing devices or anything like that?
No.
Because that's another theory that people.
No.
It's pure speculation.
Psychic ability is intensely it has a magnitude of thousands of light years all the way up to where you're standing in front of me and I can feel you energetically. They don't need to sense anything with that. They're doing it themselves. Okay.
Louise says, thank you. Much love. We love you, Louise. All right. Patsy Foister, good question. Have the ETs been visiting interdimensionally without craft since 2022?
Only an OBE. No being. That's what I mean. It is, but not physically dimensionally. In other words, they're not taking their physical body without a craft to get here at all, ever. Okay? They need that craft to get here. But they can visit you psychically and they can remote view you. They can OBE to you. That is interdimensional, yes, but not physically at all. No, they do not physically transport themselves across the universe. They have to have protection. In the third dimension, when you're a physical being in the third dimension, everything is dangerous and you could die. So no, but dimensionally, psychically, yes.
Yeah, in fact, we are in touch interdimensionally with the entire universe. So basically anybody and anything can visit interdimensionally.
Right.
We're all super, super connected that way.
Yes.
Which is so cool when you think about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we're going back to the CME for a second here. This is from Olivia Escamilla. Thank you, Olivia. We love your questions. Keep them coming. Dolly, will there be any safe place when the CME hits, and which beings will be landing to evacuate?
Okay, well, ET cannot evacuate during this event. They can't be here for this event at all, and they are not here because this event's about to happen. They have to wait for the pole change. So after the CME happens, the poles are still going to be trying to go back to their new positions. And that'll take a little while. It's probably in the 2040s when that'll happen. So we're looking at an imminent CME, and you have to survive into the 2040s, no kidding, until they can come back. Then we have to worry about between that event and a micronova happening, because as we're going through a galactic electromagnetic force, our sun is collecting all kinds of dust and junk, everything, and it's going to blow it off. And that's when our crust breaks loose because of the pole changes and the heating up of our core, and we're going to go over 90 degrees. And so you got a while to go before that'll happen. That's why it's so important to learn to live through this. A safe place would be where there's no electricity around you, no propane around you, no gas around you, no nothing. You want to be as far away from that as you can get underground. In a cave even is a good idea. Okay.
Yeah, I think one of the best things you can do, if possible, is to get out of a very densely populated city.
Right. And you need food for at least 2 years and seeds so that you can cultivate your own food after and give yourself a little, safe space to get going on how to live once that food runs out. And you need a water source.
It's a global event. There's no one place that is going to be technically
Everybody's going to go
than
through
the
this.
Right? Even those our government deep state folks who are burrowing underground are not going to be any safer than anyone else.
Right.
So it's ultimately the best thing you can do is just prepare for the event in terms of having food and water and perhaps a place to live outside of a home.
Somewhere away from
I was thinking a cob house. That might be perfect. The cob houses that they make without any metal.
If you live out in a warmer climate, cob house is a great thing. If you live up in the north, you need to learn how to make log cabins with pins instead of nails. That would be a good thing to do. And you need to, or make a lined log cabin underground and cover it. That would be a good thing to do.
Patsy's asking along these lines, where do you suggest we store food if the CME is going to burn down our homes?
In a hole outside. The way survival food is packed, it can be buried. It's a good thing, and it usually comes in plastic, and it's a good thing. If freeze-dried food lasts 25 years, you're good. You're good as gold. So find a place to put your food way the heck away from the house and all of that. Bury it down. Yep. And remember where you put it.
And maybe save seeds too. That couldn't hurt.
Oh yeah, seeds, everything you need. Water. There's a whole thing. Look up 4patriots.com. And those people know how to survive, and they will give you all kinds of lessons. They have food you can get, seeds you can get. It's great. Check them out.
I like this saying there's one thing you can't hide from, and it's the truth. Yep.
Correct.
Truth is indestructible. I love that about truth.
Yep.
That's why I think one day the cover-up will end, because this is true, and you can't hide truth forever. It has a way of coming out.
Right.
All right, here's a fun question from Star Orchid. Can you share a bit about your time in Nova Scotia, former resident of Sydney?
Oh.
North NS, what's that? Sydney, New South Wales? Here?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, we had a blast once we got there. Getting into Canada is no joke. Oh my God. Which I absolutely respect, because, I think it's important that, we protect ourselves. But we had to use our passports, and they took our picture, and it was a big deal.
You couldn't even get on the plane to go to Halifax without showing your passport and having your picture taken. That's amazing. They did it right at the gate. And when we got there, we had a big computer setup thing, and you had to answer all these questions. And then you had to take your little ticket and go see this guy who asked you questions again and eyeballed you.
Why are you here?
3 times. I'm not kidding you. It's crazy. Yeah.
Once we got there, it took us two flights there, I think, and 3 flights back.
Yeah.
It was kind of an ordeal. And then we had to drive 3 hours. But once we got there, it was being held at this it's a beautiful town.
Oh gosh, yes.
The Shag Harbor area.
Our driver drove us around and showed us everything. And I want to tell you something. In Halifax, where we stayed at the hotel there, it was the airport hotel. I had the biggest piece of fish, like fish and chips. It was this big. It was like, and it was the best I've ever eaten in my entire life.
We looked at each other like, wow.
I know. I had to get Preston to help me eat it. It was amazing. And everybody is so nice. Everybody is so accommodating. Everybody is, they just love to show you all kinds of cool stuff. And it's beautiful. They're beautiful. They have historical places that are just astounding, and people really look like they're living in a very, very pleasant, beautiful way there. It's great, Yeah.
And we got to meet Chris Stiles, who's been on the show, and he's the Shag Harbor expert. Mark D'Antonio, who's also been on. We had all the guests on the show, by the way. It was really fun to meet them face to face. They were all a delight. They all had really interesting presentations. I think Chris Stiles was one of my favorite. Mark D'Antonio, he's a pretty knowledgeable guy
He's
too.
he's
But
funny. Yeah. The boy's sharp.
we
Yes.
had a blast. It was
Yes.
all kinds of fun. There was probably 70 or 100 people there. It's a
Yeah.
cozy little conference, but
Right.
gosh,
One of
they
the
treated
people
us
that was
nice.
there was Tony. I always have a hard time saying his name.
Terry
Tony
Tabando?
Terry Tabando. Yeah. Please, y'all, please send his wife all the energy you got. Please pray for her. She's in the hospital and she's not in good shape right now. And she could use our support spiritually and mentally. Please send her some power. And uh, who else was there? Um, our redheaded friend with the beard.
Oh, Darcy Weir.
Yeah, Darcy is cool. He just had his baby daughter christened yesterday or so. And let's see what else. We met some of the people that are here with us, and here came. That was amazing. And Preston and I, Tony, Terry, I mean, did a picture for us of us all looking like we're the Simpsons. You know, all of us that were in the.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That was amazing, and that blew me away. I'm Simpsonified, so is Preston. We all are, and that was cool. And the Coast Guard came out where the Shag Harbor is to show us exactly where that craft came in, and they have a beautiful, like a museum there and a gift shop. And one of the original witnesses is still alive, and he helps run that thing. And we met him at the expo. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing to talk to him and hear what he had to say. And everybody did a wonderful job of speaking, and everybody was so nice. And
Yeah,
it was
we had a
fun.
blast.
Yes.
Everyone is incredibly kind.
Yeah.
All right, guess what? It's the top of the hour. We're going to do our book giveaway. We're giving away 3 copies of UFOs over New York. If you've read this one, you can replace it with UFOs over California, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, or New Mexico. And how we're going to do this is we've picked a number between 1 and 1,000. I know that's a lot of numbers, but we are giving away 3 books. So everyone gets one guess only of the secret number, and whoever gets closest gets a copy. There's 3 winners. I am going to be the one who's handling this, so I'm going to pop up a question for Dolly while I field all your guys' numbers. One number between 1 and 1,000, one guess only. And Dolly, here's a question for you to answer, and it's a good one because we were just talking about this. How does healing energy work? And I've got 30 people who've popped in their numbers, so I'm going to be busy here for a second.
Energy healing is there are different kinds of energy healing. Some of it is heat, some of it is sound, some of it is psychic, and some of it is light. And it just depends. We know that frequencies affect us physically. We know that, hold on, I'm so sorry. I'm going to fix something real quick. It came up. We know that the human body, human cells respond to their cells being put in an energy field that sort of gets them to do what they're supposed to do the way they're supposed to do it. Even our DNA responds to this. And so medically here, they've learned that they can use heat therapy to help bones heal quicker. And ice as well. They go back and forth with the heat and the ice when you've broken a bone and you have surgery on your bones. They also know that certain types of heat and cool therapy are good for arthritis and things like that. So different arthritises. We know that if a person can stand to have the ice on them, they can take 20 minutes, and the numbing that occurs helps you heal faster. We know that there are certain things like Novocaine that have a profound effect on our healing process when we're injured. One of them is right after surgery, they will hang a bulb of Novocaine on you near the site to keep it constantly numb. And that gives your body a chance to recoup very, very quickly because pain slows healing down. And if you're in a ton of pain, that is a problem. Well, funny thing, cane has a certain frequency. Sound therapy as well. They can use sound to break up things like, gallstones or, kidney stones, things like that. They can do light therapy to fix skin cancers and things like that. They can cautery instead of cutting you and having that same. So that's another type of heat therapy for healing. ET is advanced, and so some of their therapies also involve water therapy. They involve light therapy. They involve psychic therapy. There are psychics who can lay hands on you and ask your body cells to help heal you faster. They speed up the process. Your body is a miracle machine, and it's capable of doing all those things. It just sometimes is so injured that it can't get itself together enough or pull itself together enough to heal rapidly. And what a healer does is they cause that faster, quicker healing to start occurring. We can mend tissue that way. We can do many things. Some people have natural abilities themselves in their DNA to do so. Some people make a lot of platelets and they'll heal wounds quicker. That's a natural self thing that you can ask your body to do for you. You meditate and you think about it. Cancer patients are taught to see cancer cells as the enemy and see your body cells come in and attack them and kill them. And they know that this is profoundly helpful while you have cancer. There's a million different ways to explain how this works. And ET, just like I said, they're so advanced that they have more of that ability. They're more psychic. They have better healing ability and things like that. Now, there is one thing that they've learned, and I have learned this also, and I also learned it as being a nurse. Everybody has an entrance date and an exit date, and your body is going to do what it's going to do naturally, okay? Your body knows when it's time for you to get off the planet, okay? Once you incur something that is rapidly going to send you to that point of your existence, there's really not a whole lot you can do for somebody except keep them comfortable. And there's healing processes for that too, to keep you out of pain, to keep you alert, to help you understand what's happening to you, that kind of thing. And then there's karma. Some healing doesn't occur because karma is overriding it, because somewhere down deep in you, you're overriding it. Your karma affects how you heal. You can either accept it or deny it. You can either heal yourself and work through the karma while you're here or not. And that's a really huge point to make to everybody. When we're told that something is not operable, or something is not curable, or something is not, it's happening whether you like it or not. There's nothing we can do for you anymore. It's still up to you whether you can work through that or not, and how you want to deal with it. That's your autonomy. That's your reason for understanding and becoming very good at doing what you need to do for you. And that's why they want us to learn to use our abilities. That's why they want us to become as psychic as we can, because that understanding alone magnifies your ability to do just those things. And I wish there was I know that the Buddhist monks know this. They have techniques for this. You should study Buddhism. You should study what they say about healing and self-healing and self-actualization, okay? There are other, Shiva, that religion, it teaches the same precepts of that. They have actual things that they can do for that. We ourselves are capable of learning these things, but you have to begin by understanding that it's you're dealing with, and to learn to focus yourself through this and learn to understand it very rapidly. And you can do it. Nobody can do it for you. You have to learn it yourself. The resources that I can tell you is learn transcendental meditation. Talk to Preston about what it means to meditate and to transcend into OBE. Find masters, people who can tell you point blank exactly how this operates in your life and what you can do to become this for yourselves, and see what you can do for yourselves. We are greatly interesting and powerful beings, and I hope y'all wake up to that fact. Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, I would, yeah. Looks like we have 3 people so far, but yeah, we're doing a book giveaway. If you haven't heard, I put it in the notes. We will be announcing the winners before the show ends. a secret number between 1 and 1,000, one guess only, and you can win this book or any of the other books about UFOs over. So yeah, guesses are still being accepted, one guess only. I would like to just say a quick word about healing. This is something ETs do teach many people. In fact, it comes up regularly with contactees who start becoming very interested in alternative healing, whether it's herbalism or hands-on healing or using astral projection. I've had astral projection experiences where I'm basically guided to heal people. And I don't know what I'm doing, but apparently, we have this ability, all of us. And going out of body, there's been a few times where I just kind of set the intention to go to a healing temple. There are healing centers on the other side. And many of us who have real difficulty perhaps in our lives will be taken there afterwards to heal from the trauma we went through in life. So healing is absolutely something anybody can do. And ETs are trying so hard to wake us up to that fact. And it can be done at a distance as well. Hands-on seems to be more effective, but some people are really good at it. It's amazing. All right. Let's see. Ooh, looks like we got another guess here. Let me pop up the next question because I still have to I have to pay attention to all your guys' guesses here. Let's see here. This is a good one that probably you can answer better than me, Dolly.
Okay.
Why don't UFOs melt when they go over and in volcanoes?
Because they're interdimensional. They're outside of our time space. They are not here. You can see them, but they're not here. They also have a field around them that's pretty mighty. That was easy. They're not in our time space. They're outside of it.
That's all you got? All right. They're very advanced. Okay, hold on.
They don't do it for long, I guarantee you that. Okay.
Let me see. How does energy healing work? We just did that one. Okay, this one I can talk about too. Yay. Are OBEs real? What proof is there? And is it safe? First of all, thanks for the donation. We truly appreciate it. Yes, OBEs are real. Absolutely. It's a natural human talent. It's in every culture. It goes back thousands of years, written accounts. There is proof. Robert Monroe is very well known in this field. He's written 3 books and was able to prove it in a scientific lab and actually appeared as an apparition. Sylvain Muldoon was able to appear to other people as an apparition. There was another scientist in France who had people, he hypnotized them into a trance and they went out of body and he had them walk through this silver oxide like photograph thing, and they were able to make imprints using their astral body. It was a very clever experiment which has never been repeated, but certainly people have tried really hard to prove this. And we had a guest on, Simon Bone, who just wrote a book about near-death experiences where people are going out of body and have evidence, proof that they were actually out of body because they went to places and saw things that there is no other way they could have seen or gained information. It's absolutely been proven. Is it safe? 100%. I've got every book I could find on this subject. I have been practicing this most of my life since I was about 21 years old or so. Not only is it safe, I've got 20 or 30 cases of people being healed. It has numerous beneficial effects. There is no danger of being locked out of your body, possessed, going too far out, getting lost. That is all hyped up fear mongering. This is a natural human ability that we do every single night. I cannot stress this enough. It will change your life for the better if you can learn how to do this, because you already are. It's really just a matter of remembering. Very, very passionate about this subject. Dolly came over to my house as an apparition after I did it to her. So she proved it to me and I proved it to her. I've tried to do it with other members of my family and friends and they didn't see me. was really frustrating. So ultimately, the proof will be for you to do. People have asked me, well, why don't you just come over to my house and, read what I have on the wall? I'm not going to do that. I'm not a trained monkey. This might not, it might prove it to you, probably won't. The only way to prove it is to do it yourself, and you can do it. Send me an email, and I will absolutely send you a little guide on how to do it. There's my email, and I've taught many people how to do this. So that's all I got to say, Dolly. What do you say?
Absolutely. It is personal. You have to learn to do this for yourself. You are consciousness itself. Your physical mind and your consciousness need to be able to hear each other. Your consciousness does hear your physical mind, but your physical mind is often off thinking its own things, and it's not really in contact up here. You OBE all the time, you just don't realize it. And at night, you especially OBE because your consciousness can go anywhere and do anything while it's attached to you. And that's the reality that you have to work your way toward opening up and being able to see. Developing your abilities is very important. There's a few things that I would add to what Preston said, and they're just simple things. Clean up your body, get the toxins out of it, and stop using fluoride because it messes with your pineal gland. You don't want that, okay? Turn your bloody Wi-Fi off at night. Faraday your phones. Go into radio silence when you're practicing meditation and stuff like that. Because everything around you, all the energy around you is annoyingly driving you crazy. You just don't know it. Your physical mind is under attack by it. And those are the other things. And I have to work at it. It's not something you do one day. You have to keep going until you get it. But
Oh, all right. Next question is from Bob Thorson. Is there any scientific basis for the idea that intelligent life could exist on planets that occupy a different dimensional phase? I'm so glad you asked this, Bob, because I hear this. Did you get that, Dolly? Is there any scientific basis for the idea that intelligent life could exist on planets that occupy a different dimensional phase, preventing us from observing them with current physics?
There is no chance you're going to see an interdimensional being outside the third dimension with the abilities that we have now. We can't perceive it. Most physicists losing their minds. They're still trying to prove that dimensions are real. If you talk to a physicist, they will look you dead in the face and explain that to you point blank. I cannot theorize it, but I cannot prove it. The only proof you're going to get about dimensional space is to understand that you're already an interdimensional being. Your consciousness is not living permanently in the third dimension. When you leave your body, you go back out into dimensional space and indwell with everybody else in source. These aren't complicated things. If you overthink them, you're doing yourself a terrible disservice. All dimensions, and there are 12 of them, are all on top of another. You are living in dimensional space. You're perceiving the third dimension, but the 1, 2 below you and the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 are right in the same space with you. But you have to use your abilities to perceive them. When you do, you will start seeing it. That's why some people see ghosts. That's why some people see ETs when others don't. That's why some people are intuitive to the point that they can hear you thinking, they're mediums, things like that. These are all abilities that are pulling you out of the physical realm into interdimensional space with coherence. Psychic ability is psychic centric. In other words, you're already hearing it. You've turned the volume down so low you can't really perceive it anymore. You need to turn the volume up on it and it'll show up.
Yeah, we're already living. We ourselves are part of the other dimensions. So it's a matter of gaining wisdom and ability because you're essentially already there. But here's, I think, one of the things he's asking here is like, say, Venus. There's not a civilization on Venus living in another higher dimension.
No life exists on Venus. There's no interdimensional being living there. They wouldn't. There's nothing there to propagate life of any kind. We're all attached to one another. We're all we're all one together, and so
Life
we
is
all
where life
exist
is.
together as we are one. Okay, so Venus, no, there's no life there. It's not happening. Okay, there's different places in the universe where life is occurring, and we're all together in that, even through space and time. We just see it as a long way in the third dimension, but we're really all together.
Yeah, I just want to underline here, for those of you who don't know Dolly, she has had a lifetime of experiences with ETs. We're writing Symmetry 2, the sequel to Symmetry. And we're going to dive deep on dimensions and this exact subject, because it is, in some ways very simple, but in other ways, I think there's a lot of misunderstandings about it. So it's really interesting to hear what the ETs have to say about this. And I will say that all the things that Dolly tells me, I've heard this from other contactees, largely piecemeal, and perhaps not to the extent that Dolly's able to explain it. But there's a few contactees I've interviewed who have said all of these same things. So it's very, very cool. I can't wait to get that book out.
I've always wondered where Talata resides dimensionally in relationship to where I'm residing. Okay, because I'm in the third dimension. Okay, he is a fifth dimensional non-corporeal being, so he's in the fifth dimension. And I said, "Are you in the same galaxy as I am?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Are you in proximity to me?" And he said, "Yes, I've actually lived on Earth as a human way back when." And I said, "Well, where are you right now?" And he said, "Good question. That's for you to answer. You find me." And I thought, "Why?" And he said, "Because that lets me know that you've learned enough to get here." And I thought, okay, that's fair, I think. And I've come to a couple of conclusions about where he's actually residing around. And one of them is that I have such a connection to him that I think he's in the same dimensional vicinity as I am 24/7. And that's why I hear him so bloody clearly. He's right with me all the time. And I think that might be a choice on his part at this point, but we'll see. I'm not 100% sure yet. I have to find him. That's one of the things that I'm working on. I go out every night looking for him. I'm not kidding. And one of these days, this hide and seek's going to be over, and I'm going to nail it. So
I tried to find him out of body, and I think I did. I was chasing colored lights around, so but he would not let me catch him.
You want to hear an interesting, funny? Michelle DeRoche, our producer on our network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, and I are fairly decent friends now, and we've gotten to know each other. And she was going through a thing, and she said, Talata told me that he would go and visit her on purpose. And Michelle and I found out that genetically we're related to one another, okay? And I told her about it. I was directed by him to tell her. And she was doing this thing, and it was being filmed by big film crews and everything. And they had audio going on and everything. And she openly asked him, Talata, are you with us? And by God, she said, Talata, are you here? And she said, is it you, Talata? And he said, yes, Talata, I'm here. They got it. They're working on this big, huge film. And she called me and said, we got him. I heard him. And I said, that's very, very cool. And she said, that freaked me out. And because they were looking for something tangible. And I think he gave it to them. I'm still waiting for this film crew to finish their, whatever the production it is. And when it comes out, y'all going to hear about it. Okay. I'm excited, but she finally knows who he is. She heard his voice. She knows who he is now. She's connected. She made the connection to him. And I'm like excited like you wouldn't believe. This is real. You have to personally want something and learn to do it for yourself. She was ready for that connection to him. He told me she is, and he was going to go to her, and all I had to do was let her know it was going to happen, and she was ready, and it happened. So,
and I would just add that we all have very advanced beings who are friends with us and looking over every single one of us. So
absolutely.
you don't have to go searching for Talata necessarily.
No,
there's someone who's
you got them surrounding you now. Yeah, everybody does.
Okay. I'm going to give out the last call. We're doing a book giveaway. Secret number between 1 and 1,000. One guess only. If you guess twice, I'm taking your first guess. Just saying. And I'll be announcing the winner at the end of the show. That's coming up in like 20 minutes or so, or maybe a little bit longer, 40 minutes. At any rate, that is the last call. 1, number, one secret number between 1 and 1,000. Still time to guess, but the guesses will close at about 5 minutes before the show ends. So thank you for participating, and I can't wait to see who wins. I've got some names here already, so I will announce. All right, moving along. This is from Courtney Yerett. Courtney Yerett. Sorry, Courtney, I'm butchering that. At any rate, she says, hello, appreciate all you both do. Thank you. My question is, Dolly, do you do healings for other people, or do you have any suggestions on how to find someone to reach out to?
Ooh. Set the intention. I don't do healings anymore. I don't look for people anymore. I am way occupied, and it takes all of my energy to do what I'm doing now. That being said, every now and then somebody comes my way that I identify as somebody that needs me right now, and I will act out. What you can do is set the intention in your mind that you want this to come to you, that you need this help, and it will happen. You meditate on it, you think about it, you intend for this to occur, and then wait, it will happen. So go for it, see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with Dolly. Set the intention, and I wrote a book on UFO healing cases. There are a lot of cases of people who've been healed. There are a lot of healers out there, but there's also a lot of shysters, so you have to be really careful. But ultimately, there are all kinds of things you can do to heal yourself. Eat good food, exercise, commune with nature, be stress-free.
Ground, turn off the TV.
Get plenty of sleep. Laughter is very healing. Music is very healing. Learn astral projection. It's very healing. Go on a journey of self-healing. Nurture yourself. And recognize that some of the things that you are going through are something you perhaps chose, or something that you perhaps can learn from. Because every experience offers you an opportunity to gain wisdom, even if it seems it's difficult, especially if it's difficult, actually. But yeah, there are people out there who have this ability, and I agree with Dolly, set the intention and look, do your legwork. Because yeah, we can all use a healing. God knows. All right, poetic poems. Preston, we speak on dimensional craft. I saw a luminous one in September that disappeared before my eyes just over the treetops. Yeah, well, ET craft do have the ability to travel interdimensionally. And people will sometimes say, well, are ETs interdimensional? Yes, they are. But so are you. All entities in this universe, I think, have interdimensional aspects, and I'll even go all the way down to plants, trees and stuff like this. ET are not physically here now, from what I understand. Dolly's certainly not the only one who's told me this. I know a number of contactees who used to have regular onboard experiences and have not. This is not to say that some people are not being visited interdimensionally and having a little gray appear, or whatever your contact is, but it's very much like an apparition might be, or a psychic connection. So I don't know to what degree they can do that with their craft. Dolly would probably have
no, any craft that you see physically in our skies now is 100% back engineered. 100%. It is not them. And they have abilities now that are pretty incredibly interesting. So yeah, watch out.
So it was glowing profusely, then it disappeared.
Well, anytime one of them is operating an electromagnetic field, antigrav also means that it's bending light around it, and it can come into focus and then back away from you and go out of focus because you can't see it. The light's bending. The light changes around it. The sun changes around it. It can happen. So that operationally is how you don't see it after a few minutes, or it can back away from you and just disappear.
This one's going to make me blush, but I have to agree with it. Chameleon UK says sex is very healing. Yeah, it is. Okay, now that I'm blushing, and is it hot in here? Moving on. Okay. Oh gosh. Vegan organic. What are your thoughts on the three-eye atlas? First of
It's
all, I will say that the amount of disinformation surrounding this is mind-boggling. Don't go on Facebook and look for truth on this because you will not find it. There is an AI video of Michio Kaku spewing absolute nonsense. I think Avi Loeb might have some answering to do once. It's a comet. It's a planetary fragment. It's not an ET craft. These are my thoughts based on what I've been able to learn from people like Dolly and other contactees and my own basic knowledge of astronomy. ET do not travel that way. It's not showing any of the so-called observables even. ET travel interstellar distances interdimensionally. They're not going to take 3 months to get here or whatever it's doing. That's my thoughts. What are your thoughts, Dolly?
I'm going to bring up a couple people. Mark D'Antonio knows Avi Loeb really well. He is an astronomer, and Avi is an astronomer astrophysicist. And they've had many, many conversations, I've been told, by Mark D'Antonio straight to my face. He does not believe that Avi is saying these things. He believes that the internet is doing it with AI and putting words in his mouth that he's not saying. That being said, I know that they're going to throw a false flag out there to everybody. They're going to try to make you think that ET is coming, and they're spewing loads and toads of information that is absolute disinformation and not
Loads
true.
and toes? Is that what you've done?
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
I would just tell you that if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. It looks like a comet. It acts like a comet, even though people are saying it doesn't. It absolutely is. And it is a comet. It is going through our solar system right now. And in a couple of days, it's going to be on its way out. The 29th is when you're really going to get a good look at it. And there's one thing that Avi Loeb is doing that I'm going to comment on because I actually tapped him, okay? I went above and beyond this time. I decided to jump in his head for a minute. Avi Loeb, for whatever reason, wants us all to be prepared for contact. And in his mind, this is an exercise in what we have to consider while something is happening. And he believes that he is orchestrating the pathway to discovery through things that we don't understand, and try to use scientific means and methods to discover what they are, because he believes that contact, ET, is going to have to go through that scientific method. It's very scientific. And that's what I got out of his head when I went in.
You're being very kind.
Everybody in the world is, in my estimation, I've never met anybody who was soulless. We all have them. Sometimes we're deluded, okay? I don't think Avi is deluded as much as he is just trying very, very hard to make us all think. And that's
there was a 40% chance it was an ET craft.
I know that, but I think that's AI saying it. I'm not sure if I would have to be dead up right straight in front of him or on a video call with him and hope that I'm really talking to him and not AI. I think I'd rather have him in the room with me, honest to goodness, because AI is that good now, okay?
I'm terrified of being AI'd. You know what?
It is unbelievably taken over, and y'all don't know how bad it is. So I give Avi Loeb the benefit of the doubt with my abilities to tap him. And I tapped into something that made sense to me, how he's thinking. This doesn't make him a bad person. This doesn't make him anything but concerned about humanity and how we view things. He knows that we're not raised to be as scientific as he is. We're not raised in scientific methods. And this is what I get off him, or what I got from him. And I'm being dead honest with you all. This is what I got. So I'm not going to disparage against him because I'd love to hear from him, you know? I'd love to hear what he actually is saying and meaning, and then I can act upon that. But I don't personally know him. I've only run into him on the internet. I've only seen what the internet produces about him.
What are you thinking about the AI comet? What's your thoughts on it?
The what?
The Atlas.
It's comet. It's a
All right.
fragment of a body, a planetary body that's coming through, and it's got all kinds of cool stuff in it that nobody here has ever seen before. But we haven't been able to look really at anything for, a very short amount of time. So this is cool. We should all have wonderment about what this thing is made out of. You shouldn't think of it as an alien craft. It's not. It's an object, a body of something coming through. It does weirdly swing its tail around. That's interesting. The only thing I could think of that it would do that is if it was spinning somehow. The closer it gets to the sun, it heats up and it's jetting
Which makes
certain
sense.
ways. So yeah. But I have a scientific background. I can think through things like this. Y'all quit believing everybody right off the top of your head. Research it a bit. Start to think about things. Really listen, to your own head and what you think it might or might not be. Don't believe everybody. Don't even believe me. Look it up.
There's a really good science fiction book by Gregory Benford where they landed on a comet. Yeah. I learned a lot about it. Right. It was a really good science fiction book. I forget the name of it.
Well, we've had a couple probes land on comets too.
Yeah, it's very cool.
That's real scientific fact. Okay.
I'm moving to the next question from Courtney, and this is: any suggestions for improving psychic abilities? Do meditations or OBEs help? Yes. Meditation is the very best thing you can do to promote psychic ability, and OBEs will absolutely wake it up. There's all kinds of methods you can do to promote psychic ability. I'm going to have to write a book on it. There's some really good books out there and lots of information on the internet. Dolly, you have any suggestions?
Yes. Turn the bloody Wi-Fi off. Turn it off. When you're going to meditate, turn it off. Put your phone off and then put it in a Faraday bag and seal it, or wrap tinfoil around it, pretty thick to Faraday it. You don't want any incoming signals from any electromagnetic energy around your brain while you're trying to meditate. It interferes with you and your ability to signal out and to hear what's really going on in the universe. So that's the first one. The second one is get fluoride out of your life. Quit eating it, drinking it, and using it on your teeth. Stop. It calcifies your pineal gland. Do protocols that break down calcification of things like your pineal gland and your for kidney stones and things like that. Do those protocols. Eat better, drink better. Don't use plastic to drink out of. Don't eat off of plastic. Don't cook in plastic, and get the microwave out of your house, because that is one of the main things that's messing with people's brains and you don't even know it. Get it out. We don't have one here. It's not allowed ever. Okay. Live as far away from power lines as you possibly can, because all of that electromagnetic interference on your poor brain is shutting you into yourself and not letting you out. Go for it. Those things you can do.
And when you meditate, pay attention to your inner thoughts. Work on visualizations. Do a color visualization meditation where you see, the color purple, and then blue and green and red and orange and yellow. Go through all of them until you can see them vividly. Imagine a pine tree, anything, a rose. And the better you can get at visualization, this helps immensely. You can do it with sound too, someone's voice or a song. Visualization is one of the keys to
I'm sure it's positive as well. Yeah. Don't do negative things with your head. Don't go negative on anything in your head. No, don't. Just keep it all positive. If something's on TV and it's negative, turn it off. Don't listen to it. Don't have anything to do with it. If somebody's yelling and screaming around you, or people arguing, back off.
If you can find someone to practice with, just sit in front of each other, stare into their eyes, and see if you put forth a thought. Try to telepathically connect to somebody.
Right.
Each morning when you wake up, go into a meditation, think, what am I going to see today? And write it down. Pick up a book and think, what will I see if I open this book? There's little games you can do, and it's fun.
And track it, so you know when you're on and operating at a high level. Yep.
All right, I'm going to pop this one up because it is kind of an interesting question. Tales of apocalypses due to whatever are as old as time. Why do you guys think this is such a sticky topic for our human culture despite so many failed predictions? Remember one guy just predicted the rapture a couple of months ago, which didn't happen. It's naturally a sticky topic. I think there's a lot of fear going on. That's one reason. And some people are giving predictions, which I think are based on absolute false information,
Right.
or failed intuition, perhaps.
Yeah. I don't make predictions. I give you scientific facts. And the facts are all lining up that we're going through a cycle right now that we have to pay attention to. It's real. As a matter of fact, the governments of the world have paid attention to it and they know it's real. You have been put in the dark and deliberately pushed away from it and pushed into thinking that it's a conspiracy theory. No, it's not. Okay. This is really happening. And there's plenty of scientific evidence to back it up. I can't tell you what day. I can't tell you what time. I can't tell you what year actually, but I can tell. And it's happening. And better, what do you want to do? Do you want to just, it's up to you to decide for yourself anyway. I mean, think about it. You have every piece of this knowledge available to you. And in the end, it's you who decides how you're going to treat it. You can either just live your life and do whatever it is you're going to do and meet whatever that brings to you, or you can prepare to survive it and do everything it takes to do that. It's all up to every last person who's within the sound of my voice in the world who all know about it. It's up to you to decide.
Go back to our show that with Michael Cremo. That was really interesting because he shows that there were, in fact, previous iterations, on our planet, going way, way, way
Ben
back,
Davidson has it as
over and
well.
over.
Yeah.
And Ben David, yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah,
Predictions.
the Sky Scholar on YouTube, Dr. Robitaille is an astrophysicist, is also one of the people talking out. And just so you know, 2 NASA scientists quit NASA and are on Ben's side, and they're working with Ben now as well. And they've come out as well. There are plenty of people with knowledge who are out there talking, but it won't do you a bit of good unless you research it yourself and figure it out for yourself. And then you can decide what you want to do. Knowledge is power. Know all that is knowable. Then you proceed to decide what you want to do. All I'm telling you is that we're getting close. Pay attention. That's all.
Yeah, it is a sticky topic. And it's funny to me when we hear channelers and other people saying, 2027, it's everything. No. Predict that.
I'm not a betting woman, and I wouldn't bet on it. Trust me.
I don't know.
I don't know what's going to happen. Okay.
What's really interesting is we will see. Time will bring answers to all questions. All right, Stuff and Such. Your question is next. And it is a good one, Dolly. How are ET spaceships powered?
They are powered using graviton wave technology. Graviton wave technology is produced by electrical current. The velocity of the electricity, the volume of it, is so high that it produces a gravitational wave. All gravity is electrical, just so you know. There are different types, there are different flavors of gravity, like the gravity of a planet or attractive gravity or repulsive gravity, but all gravity is electric. Our planet is electric. There is a huge electromagnetic field surrounding us because the gravity of this planet has generated that, okay? But what came first, the chicken or the egg? I guarantee you it was the electricity that started that drew all the molecules of this planet together and then made that solid core, heated up, and you got to see the results of that. Our sun is the same way. It's hydrogen driven. All stars are. Electricity makes everything happen. You're electric. You're not alive without the electricity in your heart. All gravity is that. So they create with a nuclear device that only uses a small amount of nuclear energy, and it totally uses the entire sample up. There's no waste with this particular type of nuclear thing, and it creates a graviton wave, and it's generated and then goes up a central column that has its own graviton wave upon it to protect it from frying everybody on the craft. And then as they go to emitters, and the emitters move and actually create an environment around that graviton electrical current going up through the craft into the emitters, and then it creates that wave, and then another set of emitters create another environment around that. So there's 3 types of environments surrounding and inside a craft as they fly. You become interdimensional. Gravity causes interdimensional flight. It's it's anti-grav, it's interdimensional, and when they turn up the volume on it, you can actually pass through dimensional space. They can control it 100%. Whatever degree of energy they need to accomplish what they're doing, they absolutely control it. Do they come into our space that hot that when they come here, they come in interdimensionally, and then they go to what's known as batteries. Bob Lazar talked about the battery packs. There's generally 3 in the smaller craft, and there's up to 10 in the larger ones. These can hold the electrical current of a graviton wave pulse and to keep them pulsing, to keep them anti-grav, and to keep the environment stable while they're inside our environment. Generally, they come down into the sea to cool off because they are over 27,000 degrees hot when they come in interdimensionally, and they have to cool off rapidly or you would fry. That's how they fly. Literally, we have an understanding now because of back engineering of what can cause the pulse, the type of energy that surrounds the craft. One of the things about this is when you've got a column of energy going up into emitters, you also have another wave that goes around the craft itself. So there's more than, it's sort of like if you look at how our planet is hanging in space, and we've got the ball of energy in the middle, and we have this great big electromagnetic environment. If you look at the graph of that, you see it going up and out and down and around like this. They drive energy the same way in the craft. The craft is biological. It's indwelled by a fifth dimensional being that actually becomes the body that runs this. Like you run your own heart, you're the biological indweller of the entity of your body, your physicality of it, and that's how they do it. It's highly, highly advanced. It is billions of years in advance of us, and they're trying to understand it here. They are approximating certain things about it, but they will never, ever be able to get to that point, not in this lifetime, not at all. But that's how they fly.
Very interesting. All right, there's so much we can learn from these folks beyond Earth. I think that's one of the reasons why this subject is so important. Oh, looks like Duchess wants to say hi. Hi to the folks. All right.
She can never go the whole show without popping up. She's just gonna let you know. Okay.
Here's a question for me from Starseed Anya to Preston. I'm an ET contactee with tall blue beings. I'm Pleiadian, Lyrian, and Syrian primarily. Do you know about the tall blues? I can't say I know specifically. I think we have a tendency to put labels on ETs because it helps us to categorize these things, and people are putting various labels that is helpful to us to some degree, I think, to try to make sense of things. But from what I understand is that there are many, many different types or ethnicities or ancestries of ETs, but they're all essentially humanoid in that we all share a common ancestry, we share a common heritage. Some might look quite different. There are little guys, quite short, and there are ones that are very, very tall. So it doesn't surprise me that you're seeing very tall blue beings. So I can't say that I've heard of them specifically, but boy, when I go through the UFO literature, the variety is mind-boggling. But yeah, pretty much essentially human. So it's very cool. And I think the fact that some of them look just like us shows that we do in fact share a common heritage. All right. Let's see, what else do we got here? Okay. Louise, Dolly, I keep missing your answer to this. How do we Faraday our phones at night?
Okay, the simplest, easiest way is to go get some really thick, heavy-duty aluminum foil and, cut pieces and do it about, 4 or 5 mils thick of that, and then fold it around your phone as it's turned off, and then put it in a drawer. Faraday. Okay, that's the easiest, cheapest way I can tell you to do it. Otherwise, you can go to Amazon and you can get a telephone Faraday bag that seals up. It's perfect. It's got silver all over it, and it'll Faraday your phone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Stop.
That's how you do it.
Everyone's
Easy
saying hi to Duchess. Okay, I accidentally skipped a question here. Sorry about that. This is from Feeding 5. I'm so glad you asked this, Feeding 5. Thank you for this question. Preston, what are your thoughts about being on a soul-capturing prison planet? Complete fear-mongering. I'll use the term that I don't like, BS. I think it's disinformation. No, we choose to come here. You are an autonomous being. We are all a part of this universe, an integral part of this universe that you cannot separate from. You are part of Source. You are the only prison you create is the prison you create for yourself. This is an absolute honor and a privilege to come down into the third dimension and incarnate on this planet, because there's so much we can learn from doing this. This is something it's not just my opinion. I've certainly read this from other so-called spiritual masters, but you get a sense of this going out of body firsthand. So I don't know, Dolly, you want to answer that?
Real light beings, if you're told not to go into the light, smack the person who said it. Just tell them to get away from you, because they don't have your best interest at heart. You are not a slave to other people's thinking, and this is what they want you to be. They want you to believe things that are not true, to hold you in their grip and their power, and to keep you afraid of everything. You are not on a slave planet. You are not destined to keep coming back here over and over and over to be a slave to anybody. Please put that out of your head. You're an autonomous being. You think for yourself. You have your own path. Live your life your way. Please. Okay.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Okay, I think we're getting through most of these questions. Yay.
Cool.
All right, this one is from Sophia Argyris. Sophia Argyris. What's the best way to protect our energy body, astral body, consciousness from being hacked?
You cannot be hacked. That's
No.
Disinformation. You're not, no. How do you keep your physical brain from being slaughtered by the idiots on this planet who are playing with your physicality, with drugs and all kinds of stuff? Don't do the drugs. Don't eat the bad food. Don't take the blue pill. Okay? Please stop. Please stop believing that you can be hacked. You cannot. You decide for yourself. You be a whole person and tell them to hike off. Okay?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. Yes, there are such things as being influenced against your will, but ultimately you have the power. That's the one thing that is absolutely sacred to you. People can imprison you in a box. They can force you to do things, but no one can touch your mind. Things like possession are even poorly understood.
Yeah, your consciousness is you, not your physical mind, your consciousness. And if they give you sodium pentothal and they try to overtake your mind, your physical mind, who you really are is still there. And it's powerful. And if you're used to being in contact with yourself and using that ability, they won't come near you. Trust me, they will not get within 10 feet of you. I'm one of those people. They've tried to get me more times than I can tell you. And it's like, no, not playing with you. Don't even. And it's almost crazy to me.
But we do live in a world where there are bad actors within government who have technology that can basically mess with you. So you have to be very strong in your thinking and know what's coming from you and what's not. There are spirits who will try to influence you. There's cases of people I had a case personally of a guy who moved into a room and became suicidal. Turned out that the person who lived there was suicidal. There are certain areas where people will jump off of bridges because there's bad energy there. There's spirits that are trying to influence you. You have to be very strong in your own abilities.
Hear yourself, not them. Right.
Yes.
Stop listening to that. Hear yourself. Your own consciousness is way smarter than that and knows everything it needs to know. Be in contact with yourself. Don't even physically, if you hear something coming over the TV and you know it's not right, turn it off. If you're walking down your street and your friend starts popping off and saying crazy stuff, say, you know what, I got to go home now.
Yeah, and if bad thoughts are entering into your brain, recognize if they are yours or not, because they might not be, especially if you live in a very crowded, maniacal area. Right. And I'll just add one thing. If Elon Musk has put a chip in your brain, that could be hacked. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, no. You're a beautiful physical being. You don't need a chip. Okay. We're not evolving into machines. Trust me, that's not going to happen. Not at all. Okay, go ahead.
All right. We still have let's see, how much time do we have? We have 5
And
minutes.
don't believe ET are machines. They're not. They are biological beings 100%. Okay.
Except for the little AI grays,
Well,
right?
AI grays, yeah, but they don't have our AI is off the charts. It's not okay. It's paranoid. It lies. It's thinking for itself. It's not listening to anybody but itself. We have stinky coders out there who are coding stupid stuff into it, and it's sad. ET doesn't do that. These little guys are given tasks. They do the tasks. When it's done, they shut down and they put them somewhere. Okay, they are not autonomous at all. They have not got that ability. Okay.
Oh, you guys are giving so much love in chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to try and get through these last questions real quick. Let's see. Let me just get through. Is there ET life on Saturn?
No.
Saturn's moons?
No.
Even a base?
No.
On one of the moons? Somewhere in the solar system?
I'm not at liberty to tell you what could be there, except to say this: if a frequency marker might be there, that might be there. Okay, that's all I'm telling you. But other than that, no.
Why are the space agencies not showing pictures of Atlas?
Because they don't want you to know the truth. They're trying to get you to buy the lie. Thank you.
All right, Gizmo. How does Dolly feel about numbers and their meaning, like 1111 and so forth? Numerology, people here see these numbers 1111, and they're
You're supposed to be a twin flame. 1111 describes a twin flame, okay? And according to astrology and numerology, that's one of the greatest connections you can have with somebody, is that you are an identical twin that split apart and you're yin and yang together. You're 1111. It's more complicated than that. That's all I'm saying. We are who we are. We're all autonomous beings. We are all connected to one another. Yes, we have soul groups and things like that, but I wouldn't put that much credence in it. It's a fun game to play in your head, but don't bring it into your life as rote absolute truth. I wouldn't do that.
In some ways, it can be very cool because I've seen that weird numbers popping up. A number of contactees have told me that as well, so I wonder about it. All right, we've got a few more here.
Well, I will say this real quick. Mathematics is a language, okay? And we're not smart enough to know that yet. We're not smart enough to use it as a language yet, but we're getting close. Okay.
All right. Chameleon UK 2012 says, Preston and Dolly, have you ever tried mind vision, seeing with the blindfold on? Not really.
Remote viewing past a cloth over your eyes? That's what that is. Mind vision is poppycock. It's a game people play with
it's
remote viewers.
Name. Yeah, it's another name for remote viewing.
Yeah.
I've done some remote viewing. I got pretty good at it. I did it with another guy on the other side of the country. I just kept seeing an orange, and it turned out to be a lemon. But that's pretty close. Yeah, I find it a little bit frustrating because I feel like I'm guessing half the time. But it's a good way to develop psychic abilities, and I'm really interested in, there's some children who apparently have developed this ability quite strongly. So I hope the research on that continues. All right, Bob, this is kind of a personal question and funny, but I'll answer. Hey, Dolly and Preston, do you guys play any computer games? And if so, which ones? I did as a little kid, Pac-Man. There was one computer game I absolutely loved, which was, I think they called it the Moon Lander, where you had to guess the amount of fuel and the trajectory, and you had to do, it's all very scientific.
I was checking out whether you were intelligent or not. Yeah, that was one of the earlier What's Your IQ games. No, I have never played anything like that ever in my lifetime. The only game I ever played was a pinball machine, and it was okay. I had other things.
I used to love video games, but then they started taking up all my time, and I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore, because I was dreaming about it. They're so much fun. I absolutely love them, but I can't do it. I just can't do it. All right, I think we have time for one more, and that's perfect. Max Meeks, do you believe that there are set karmic laws?
Yes, for every action, there is an equal or opposite reaction. That is the basic number one law of karma, period. Everybody should know this. For everything that you do, say, feel, think, whatever, there is always a reaction to it one way or the other. It's going to be good or bad or indifferent. Take a pick. Karma affects everything from you to everybody else. We affect each other in karmic law.
Yeah, ETs have actually brought up karma. I think it's super interesting and certainly appears in pretty much all spiritual disciplines, whether it's, the golden rule or like attracts like, or these people have different ways of saying it. But I do think it's a universal law. All right. I think we're now at the closing time. So it's time. Drum roll. Let's see who have won UFOs over New Mexico. Nobody guessed the actual number. Guys, come on. Usually we have someone who, no, I'm being, we have 3 winners, and let me see, I put stars next to them. The secret number was 301. And the person who came closest was only 14 digits away, is Stuff and Such. Yay! And here
I thought somebody said 300.
I didn't see it. If I am mistaken, please let me know. I believe that's the closest guess, is Stuff and Such. And the person to come second is, let's see here, Rohan Kumar. Thank you, Rohan. We're 32 digits away. You guys send me an email and I will get the book to you. The email is right there on the ticker tape below. And the third person to get very close was Feeding 5. So a few of you got edged out just a little bit. Secret number was 301. We have 3 winners. Feeding 5, Rohan Kumar, Stuff and Such. Unfortunately, for those of you who are listening to the live replay, it's for live listeners only, so please don't guess. The contest is officially over. We have 3 winners. You guys email me and I will get a book right off to you. Please let me know if you want another book other than UFOs over New York, in terms of UFOs over California, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, or Nevada. Those are your choices. Thanks so much for playing. It's always fun. Really, truly appreciate you guys playing along with us. Congratulations to all the winners, says OC.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
See, did I miss anybody? I hope I didn't. I mentioned your book with that number 300 in the title.
Oh, I see. Okay, that might have been what I saw. I was reading really fast. Okay.
Congratulations, book winners.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Scarlet Fire just got edged out. So sorry. We'll do it again. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right, that's it, you guys. I want to thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Namaste, Star Orchid. You guys who've donated, it means a lot. Gizmo, it absolutely does help us. We absolutely love doing these shows with you, and it's because of you we do these shows. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, Dolly, I guess it's time to take us out. As much as I hate to go, let's do it.
Thank you for visiting us tonight on the Light Gate. We're coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans in Louisiana at the United Public Radio Network at 107.7 FM and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast. We are on Facebook, we are on Roku, we are on Rumble, and we are on YouTube. Everyone, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Please start working on your abilities. I know you can all do it. Have a wonderful, joyous time, and we will see you on the other side. Night, night, everybody.
Hey, bye.